All right, welcome to Celtics Postgame Live. Tom Giles, Scal. We got Eddie House as well. And Celtics rally in the fourth quarter, force overtime, actually had a chance to win it there. And then we get to OT, and Scal, you saw the Knicks just resilient in that OT and able to pull it out as Jaylen Brown had a couple shots there to try to tie it at the free throw line. Jason Tatum with a three at the end to try to tie it. And it's the Knicks who get the win.
Yeah, so I'm not going to – I mean, obviously we know the obvious. Jaylen Brown got to make one of two. You can't miss both of those in that situation. That's fine. But this game was lost in the third quarter with our lack of defensive intensity. We got beat off the dribble all night. The Knicks got to the paint all night. Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, who, if you probably really think about it and you started writing down names in the NBA, those guys aren't top 20 players. And they dominated this matchup today. I like the way that Tatum played, but it just felt like those guys got whatever they wanted. They did have a little bit of a lull there where Tatum had that nice stretch to get back into the game and force overtime. But it seemed like to me that the Knicks guarded us a whole lot better than we guarded them.
Eddie?
I'll take it a step further, Scal. I think it was more so the Knicks just play harder than us from tip to end. From start to finish. They played harder, 50-50 balls. They were coming up with them. And the one thing about it is we play in spurts. We play great in spurts. And sometimes it seems like we have to get behind to start playing collectively together on both ends. And then we digging ourselves out of a hole, and now we're in a dogfight because we allowed a team to get a lot of confidence. Not to take anything away from the Knicks because they came out, like I said, they played hard. Mm-hmm. They were the aggressors. Like you said, Julius Randle got whatever he wanted. Jalen Brunson got in the paint whenever he wanted. They all went to their left hand. We didn't really take that away from them. We didn't force them to go to a secondary, a third move. We allowed them to get straight line drives. And so guys are pros, and you continue to do that. You've fallen into a situation where you're creating bad habits of not finishing the job, starting fast and continue to play the same way and playing strong. And those things, that's concerning to me. Those are the things that I'm concerned about, is the fact that we haven't put together a 48-minute game in a long time. We've just been playing in spurts. And the fact that we've been more talented and deeper than other teams, we've been able to get away with it. But these last three games, you can see guys are getting the best of everybody.
So it's a third straight loss for the Celtics. They trailed by, my count was as many as 13 points in that fourth quarter. But it was, and we're going to take you through some of the video. Yeah, I had 102-89.
Yeah.
Here's the 16-4 run, though, to close out the fourth quarter and force overtime. Rob Williams had the bucket and one. That cut it to an 8-point game. Then you have Jason Tatum getting to the hoop with the left. All right, that made it 6.
Tatum dominated the fourth quarter. I love the way that he was going. He was on attack mode.
He was, and he once again makes it a 6-point game with that layup, 108-102. And then Tatum plus the foul.
You just do the counting. I'll tell you what Tatum's doing. He is taking over this game. Now what's the score, Tom?
All right, well, it's a 3-point game. Check that. It's a 5-point game. Malcolm Brogdon's going to make it a 2-point game with that 3.
Yeah, Tatum, aggressive, playing the passing lanes. 2 guys go to him, and he makes the right play.
Now Tatum for the tie, and he gets it there with the layup. All right, so it's 110-110.
Oh,
Final play here, Scal.
I love the
Final play regulation.
Watch the separation. Ha! Wide open shot. I can't believe he missed it. I thought it was over. I thought I was going to be on the postgame show with Eddie doing 15 minutes earlier. I couldn't believe he missed that shot.
You got a great look at it, and, of course, that sent us to overtime. But Jason Tatum got a good look. He had a tie game, about 20 seconds to go. They got what they wanted.
People don't know this, but when Eddie House used to put the ball on the floor, which he didn't do it in the NBA, but in college, he used to dribble that thing, right? That was his move right there. He'd go, and then he would hit that little jump stop. And every time he got wide open space because of it. I never saw that in the league, but in college, that was dripping wet.
I did it a little bit at the beginning of my career. Then I got pigeonholed and to be just a hired gun and assassin. Yeah. But really, though, I love that shot by Jason Tatum.
I do too.
He rocking and rolling. He was the only one that was really – I won't say the only one that was really trying. But the reason why he got going, because they did get stops. And they were playing against a set defense a lot of the time of the night. Like, they're coming down trying to go against a team who hangs their hat on the defensive end, right? So when you start getting stops, you got cross matches, you got floor is unbalanced. You have opportunities to take advantage of mismatches that you see. Jason Tatum did a great job. So at that time, how he was rocking in the fourth quarter, there is no way that anybody else should be taking a shot. He created his space. He got the look. The only thing, like I said, the concerning thing for me, Scal, and Giles, is the fact that we don't play that hard for 48 minutes. We take, I don't know, minutes in every quarter, it seems like, or if our back is against the wall, then we come out storming. But I would just like to get that consistency where, hey, this is how we are going to play. This is our level of play no matter what. And let's talk about it. Let's be real. I watched that Orlando Magic game. The Orlando Magic played harder than them. We kept getting beat in transition. We weren't getting back. When we finally made the adjustment to start getting back, then we started coming back into the game, right? Same thing with the Miami Heat. We allowed missed shots when they went into that zone because they were going into the zone off of made free throws, off of missed free throws, or off of made baskets. So they were running the zone. Only way you get your matchup that you want is if you got to get stops. We weren't getting stops. We were giving up threes. We were missing shots, and we allowed that to bleed into our defense. That's the mentality that has to change. It has to be, well, if we ain't scoring, neither are you. And I know the league is how it is, but at the same time, sometimes it's a lack of energy, and it's just not consistent energy. And I would love to see that because I think this team is way too good to let games slip away because these are the type of games that dictate seeding, home court advantage. And think about it last year, being at home against Milwaukee was huge for us. So you got to remember all those things.
Yeah, and going back to it, Jason Tatum had the 35 points. So that final shot there, absolutely. And he was the only reason, really, you're in overtime. You talked about the stops, but him attacking the basket was the only reason you're in overtime. Do you want to check out overtime? Let's check out overtime, too, and see how that unfolded. Because the Celtics, they had the advantage there in OT.
Yeah, sure. I love the way that they started overtime. I thought just exactly what Eddie was talking about. You could tell they're the better team. They were playing hard, moving the ball, obviously making shots, and they were getting stops. But you got to play it all the way out. Full 48, this time full 53.
So that was Julius Randle, who made it a 2-point game with that three. And Knicks coming right back down. It's R.J. Barrett giving the Knicks a 116-115
He didn't even
lead.
say his name today.
I forgot he was on the floor until then. Jaylen Brown, and you like this call too, Scal. This play right here, Jaylen Brown getting to the basket.
This is like like misdirection. Everyone's worried about Tatum. They go to Jaylen Brown. And then here's Julius Randle.
Yep.
Inside, R.J. Barrett again.
No, that was Julius Randle getting fouled.
That's right.
Went to the line, made both free throws, so that gave the Knicks the 1-point lead. And with that 1-point lead, you had the Celtics trying to answer, and Jaylen Brown got a pretty good look here and gets fouled on the shot. Unfortunately,
the lonely place after you missed that first one.
Yeah, down by one and with 2 free throws here with 7.6 seconds on the clock.
All right. You missed the first. All right, here we go. Number 2 cannot be short.
And it was short. So the Knicks, meanwhile, hit 2 free throws. Celtics did get one more look at it. Jason Tatum gets a look from the wing here for 3. Well contested, but it's really all he had on this play, Scal.
Well, you got 5 seconds. You don't have to rush it. 5 seconds is an eternity in the NBA. So, I was fine with the look. It just, I think 5.7 seconds, you could do a lot. Like the drive, a kick. You could space the floor better. There were 2 Knicks on him. I'm not mad at the shot. It's how it goes. But, you can get a lot of situations with 5.7 to go.
Since we spent so much time talking about it the other night, as far as the late game situations, it felt like the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, controlled and did everything perfectly here in the late game.
Ask Eddie, because I feel like
possession-wise,
I feel good about when the timeouts, when to rush it, how he managed the game. You got Jaylen Brown to the free throw line.
How'd you feel about it?
Would you change the way he ended that game, let's say the last minute and even in overtime?
No, I thought he did a good job, and that's all that. And, from game to game, it's going to be a learning experience for him. And I think he definitely feels like, man, he dropped the ball a little bit in Miami, but I thought he did a good job of controlling. I also thought he did a good job of at times getting Jason Tatum in the post. And I know when they were getting that switch, it was him and Al Horford, and then Julius Randle ended up pushing him all the way off of the lane. But I like the fact that he still got his ISO against a bigger guy that he could beat off the dribble. He ended up getting an and one off of that. So I would like them to implement that a little bit more. To me, it's just the way – I know everybody is in love with the 3-point shot, right? But deuces count, and scoring counts, right? Especially if other teams are scoring or you haven't been scoring. You have to find ways to make it as easy as possible, especially for your star player. Another time he got it on the block and did the quick spin, went up and dunked it, right? Those are the plays that I'm saying you could get about 8 of those touches, 8 of those possessions, and they'll be super positive for the Celtics moving forward. And it makes him damn near impossible to guard, right? Because now you're going to have to send a double team in that situation, and he's going to be able to see it. We see his elevation as a passer and a playmaker and making the right plays and the right reads. That just puts teams in rotation. And the one thing we do know, if you get teams in rotation, this Celtics team, we got everybody that can put it on the deck. We got guys that can hit open shots, and we got guys that can make plays for others. So if you constantly put other teams in rotation, it bodes well for you. So I like those moves that Joe Mazzulla did. I like the timeouts that he took. I thought he did a great job tonight, clock man, all that. I think I give him a great job. You know, guys just didn't make shots when they needed to.
I think we all agree on that. All right, meanwhile, Abby Chin is standing by. She's with Joe Mazzulla. Let's send it back out to Abby.
Joe, what was the message to Jaylen post-game after missing the free throws?
I love you.
Message to the rest of the team following late-game execution.
Play the way we did in the fourth quarter the whole game. Be more consistent.
How were you able to dial up the defense on Jaylen Brunson?
We were active, flew around, shift, recovered for each other, and held them to one shot.
What is your takeaway from this game?
You have to play the whole game. You have to play consistent, physical, tough team basketball for 48 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's what Eddie just said as well. Celtics fall 120-117 in overtime. We're going to have much more coming up. Hear from some
You mean Eddie and Joe said the exact same thing?
He said you got to play the full 48 minutes. Well, actually, in this case, you had to play a full 53, right?
Yeah, I just seen one was longer than the other.
Well, that's true.